Do you believe every single thought that goes through your head? Or do you actually challenge it using the Think acronym I have mentioned in a previous video? Because the reality is, not every thought that we think is genuinely true or factually true. Thoughts tend to have three roles. They either are there to protect us, to prioritize us, or to punish us. And the reality is, those thoughts are what we have acquired. It's learned behavior patterns that we've repeated either for survival mechanism as we've been growing up throughout our childhood, or through the education system as we've navigated our schooling and then maybe progressed on to college or university and early into our career. We were looking externally for the validation and to ensure that we were doing the right thing, whether it was the corporate culture that we were following within our organizations. And as a result, we were picking up the thoughts, which, because they were being played on repeat, become the beliefs that are then ingrained within our mindset, within our brain. And that then influences how we are actually feeling and how we're actually behaving. And that has a knock-on impact on how we feel about ourselves ultimately. And are we following a societal blueprint of what is expected of us, what our caregivers, what our extended family, what our kind of religious or cultural background may be? Or are we genuinely living from a place of authenticity, that we are doing what genuinely brings us joy, contentment, and fulfillment in our life? So, as I've mentioned, some of our thoughts are protective. They are the don't touch the hot stove, don't touch the electric socket. And those are the things that you're doing because you are told you're to survive, that you're not to burn yourself and you're not to electrocute yourself. But in other instances, you're being told, oh, don't be opinionated, don't earn too much money because then you're greedy. Those then are thoughts that become beliefs that are not genuinely true. And as a result, they actually limit us. They create a comfort zone where it is safe for us to be in and exist. But if we try and push that comfort zone out, it starts threatening the whole kind of our mindset, our belief system. And that can actually be really kind of uncomfortable, jarring, and at times it can actually create us to sort of like start criticizing and judging ourselves. The self-trust that is absolutely fundamental in order for us to navigate life from a place of integrity, a place of balance, peace, where what we think, what we feel, and how we behave are fully aligned. There is no conflict, we're in full alignment, but we are behaving from a place of alignment that is true and it resonates with us in our core, and that is aligning to our core values. So, protective, our kind of upbringing, there'll be this is the way to do things in the corporate world in order for you to fit in. But that might not necessarily be what is acceptable in another organization or company. Then it's about prioritizing. And this is where in our life, we are, as we're growing up, we are told to be a nice girl, a good girl, or a good boy. And in order for us to take on those roles, we end up prioritizing other people's needs. We start reading the room. What kind of mood? Is there tension? Is there an atmosphere? Is there some undercurrent in the kind of environment that we are in, and we're trying to survive. So therefore, we prioritize other people's needs rather than our own in order for us to be validated and accepted and have that sense of belonging. But in reality, we are neglecting our own needs. If we don't take care of our body, of our mind, of our heart, of our soul, then there will be aspects of our being that is going to crave for that attention. And then you might actually end up with a migraine. You might end up with a sore back. You might end up with not feeling your best, that you are exhausted and tired. You don't have the energy to do the things that bring you joy and contentment. And that is your thoughts that are then making you feel a certain way that then interlinks to how you're then behaving. And the third is for it to punish us. And this is where the punishment might not necessarily be that you're physically abusing yourself, but your actions and your behaviors may be causing abuse because they're not coming from a place of kindness and compassion. And by that, what I mean is if you learn a story that, or you hear a story that you keep on repeating that is earning money is evil, that you are greedy if you've got too much money, then technically speaking, you are punishing yourself because you are not allowing the abundance and flow into your life. And when you receive any kind of monetary income, whether it's in your bank account, cash in your hand, then you want to get rid of it as soon as possible, because you holding on to that money is then meaning that you created that meaning that you are evil, that you are greedy. So you're punishing yourself by letting go of all that money. And when you let go of all that money, then you get to that constant stress situation where you're always seeking money, but then when you get money, it always flows out. And that's why a lot of people will say, oh, I really needed $100 or £100 and to pay the next bill, and then all of a sudden someone paid me something, or I received a client, or I got my overtime came through, or I got some birthday money, whatever it might have been, money landed in their bank account or in their hand to pay for that bill, but they never received more. That's why a lot of the kind of manifesting channels and books and people are wanting the silver bullet. They want to get the quick fix, but the reality is you still need to do the inner work. You need your vibration to increase and align with abundance in order for money to come in. Your self-worth needs to be high in order for you to feel that you deserve and are worthy of retaining that money, because otherwise you're just going to let it go. So you need to do that inner work. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go out and hustle and get a second and a third job or a side gig in order to make money. It means that you need to do the inner work to align your frequency in order to accept the money. And this is where what I'm sort of talking about from a mindset perspective, if you think of our thoughts that are in a looping pattern, and that looping pattern can be a downward spiral, which is negative, and it keeps you stuck. It keeps you in a kind of scarcity, limiting frame of being. Or it can be a positive, where it actually motivates you, inspires you, enables you to take the necessary action in order to do the inner work, in order for you to be open to the opportunity and possibility of collaborating with someone or working on a piece of content that is going to generate some money for you, whether it is advertising your services, promoting what your business is actually doing. And this is something that I've used previously on this channel, and it's the ladder of looping thoughts, where your thoughts impact how you feel, which then impacts how you act, which then either validates, provides the proof and evidence that the original thought was actually valid, or it creates an even stronger thought. So if we go to if we use the example of I am stupid, and we have that as the thought, how do you feel being stupid? Well, what's the point? I feel really annoyed with myself, or I feel disappointed, or I just feel, oh, that's what people think, and I just feel low. You're not going to feel, oh yeah, brilliant, I feel stupid. You're not going to feel ecstatic and in a positive kind of emotional state if that was the original thought. Then what's your action? Well, what's the point? Why will I put the effort in? Because if I'm stupid, then me taking action and doing something that demonstrates that I'm not stupid, then I'm almost like swimming upstream, and you don't do that unless you're a salmon that's trying to migrate. And then you create another thought that is that, well, what's the point of me even trying? I'm useless. So starting from I am stupid, then you end up with I am useless. Now, are either of those thoughts going to inspire you or empower you and encourage you to take action to shift that mindset? Absolutely not. So you're in that kind of negative spiral. And this is where you start catastrophizing. That's where you start comparing yourself with other people. But the reality is you can break the pattern. And the Think acronym, where you ask the 5 questions. Is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And if the answer to those 5 questions is no, then you get to choose another thought. And this is where you can change it to maybe saying, if the original thought was I am stupid, changing it to I am smart might just be too much of a stretch for you, in which case then you can say that I am resourceful, or I am a learner, I am a beginner. Because you give yourself more grace, you give yourself more kindness and compassion by acknowledging the fact that if you're at the beginning of your journey, if you're trying something for the first time, you're not going to get it right 100%. You might get it to like 10%. But you've learned so much by getting it to 10%, and then you can keep on building. So let's change that to I am a beginner. Then how does that make you feel? If you're beginning something, you become more kind of kind towards yourself, that you will not set the expectation and the bar too high. You're almost like seeing it as like, well, what did I learn today? What can I tweak? What can I adjust? What can I do differently in order to improve on my result? Then what does that actually make you do? What is the action? You're going to start exploring and thinking of different things that you can do in order for you to learn smarter, learn faster, experiment. I know Alex Hermosi sort of says that in order for you to achieve great results in a short period of time, you need to keep putting yourself out there. You need to constantly reiterate. On the large transformation programs that I've worked in throughout my career, the way that you actually learn is that you capture requirements, then you actually get someone to write them up in development code, then you actually test it, and then you tweak and adjust before you're ready to embed it into the kind of IT code infrastructure of the system that you're implementing. This is an IT technology change process. But you also, while you're doing all of that, you come up with, well, what is the kind of touch points in the process? How does the customer experience journey look like? How does the interdepartmental interactions work on the back of it? So there's lots of components that can be working in parallel. So your brain is starting to, okay, if I want to become an exceptional blogger, then you're going to have to create a blog. And you need to select a platform that you're going to post your blogs. You need to create a mailing list so you can actually share your blog with people, and you need to start promoting yourself on some form of social media, whether it's paid ads or whether it's free, or whether you're actually having a YouTube channel, or however you're promoting your business through that way. But you need to start writing blogs. There's no point in you setting all the infrastructure if then you don't start creating blogs. And the way that you learn what's going to work is that you start giving yourself, like, What is a cadence that actually is sustainable for you? Doing that once a week, or doing that once a month, or once a fortnight? Or is it that you do it on a daily basis and you write smaller posts, but you do it more frequently so you can learn faster? So there's different ways that you can reiterate. So you will take whatever the appropriate action for you is, which then either reinforces that I am a beginner, but now I am, rather than a beginner level 1, now I've become a beginner level 2, and then a level 3, until then you become, I am experienced in that field or in that process or whatever I'm doing. Or you start changing the thought where you don't iterate upwards, you're actually starting to feel, I am confident, I am capable, I am resourceful, I am a creative person that is constantly evolving in problem solving, in finding new novel ways to experiment and engage with my audience, whatever that may be. So you can turn it into a positive spiral rather than it remaining as a negative one. So let's bring this to a kind of close. Our thoughts have got roles, and it can be to protect us, to prioritise us, or to punish us. However, we get on a daily basis and multiple times during the day to challenge our thinking. Put it through the Think acronym, ask it the 5 questions, and then put it through the ladder of looping thoughts and change it from the negative to a positive. And then you will start seeing that you are inspiring and motivating yourself to take action, to experiment, to try things. And in the process of trying, experimenting, you will find things that work and things that don't, but they're all learning opportunities. And they're also demonstrating that rather than you just believing every thought that you think, you are actually applying a scientific, rigorous process in place in order to challenge that thoughts and in order for you to feel differently. And if you feel differently, then you will take different actions. Let me know in the comments below if you found this ladder of looping thoughts, that the Think acronym, and also the 3 roles that our thoughts actually play in our life. Have you come across them before? Are they beneficial? Which one resonated with you more? I've got lots of questions to ask. If you're new to this channel, then please like and subscribe if you've stuck into however many minutes long this video has ended up, for more content on mindset, of really showing up for yourself and inspiring and encouraging yourself to take the action in order for you to live your best life. For those of you new, I am Tanya, hello, and I want you to go out and seize the day. Pick one of those kind of tools and apply it in your life, and let me know in the comments below what the benefit, what the result was. And remember, there's always choices in life, so you get to choose wisely. Bye until the next one.